Good afternoon, class. So today is 28th of September and we will have to cover the current affairs of today. I hope you have gone through the introductory lecture because it will be helpful in making you understanding that what are the important things. Now straight away jumping to the news. The first news is jobs up 29% since 2013. This is said by a survey. Now this is a all India quarterly establishment based employment survey. So the agency is not important. You also need to not remember the agency. But just remember that what kind of agency it is. Either it is a private agency or either it is a government agency. If it is given, then it is your information. If it is government agency, you have to look out and you have to mention the government agency. If it is a private agency, it may not be so important. Okay, so you have to make a balance between the two. In this particular case, it is a private agency, so we will not be bothered with regard to what kind of survey they have presented. We will only be bothered with regard to the data that they have given. Now, what form of data they have given us? They have said that if you compare today's employment rate with the 2013 employment rate, the jobs have risen by 29%. Now, please remember, sometimes in the paper, the things that are given, they are not equivalent to whatever progress or growth they are showing. So if you see this, it must seem that the jobs are increased by approximately 30%. So if in 2013 100% are employed, in 2010 2021 130% are employed. That is the rudimentary way of representing the percentage. Now please remember, if it had been a good survey, they would definitely would have calculated the increase in the jobs with regard to the increase in the GDP. I hope you are getting my point. What I am saying is the GDP also increased from 2013 to 2020-21. Even if you do not want to take the year up till COVID, you can take the previous year. So the GDP also increases. If the GDP increases, whether equivalent amount of jobs are created in the economy or not, that is the question that you have to think. ठीक है, I hope you are getting my point. कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर jobs बढ़ी हैं, are they equally reflecting of the GDP that have increased over the last 8 or 9 years? Now please remember, they have not given that particular data. They have taken the absolute form. They have said that earlier there were 2.73 crore jobs in the market. Now there are 3.8 crore jobs. And the BPO growth has been one of the extensive provider of the employment, and a lot of people are working in the business process outsourcing. The persons who are working in the call centers and they are catering to all the other people around the world, they are from the business process outsourcing jobs. So that is the dominant form of jobs in the metro cities. So I hope this is clear. So that has been the case here. The only information is how you take information from these particular articles. What has been given? 29%. What is not been given? The amount of the GDP in 2013 and the amount of GDP in 2021. They have taken the absolute number. So that is the type of understanding that you should have. Okay? So just for example, why you study this newspaper? Abhi, as you are studying this newspaper, it will be difficult for you to actually think like this. जैसे जैसे आप आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे तो you will be also able to call out the bluffs that the various surveys and the various other datas or the agencies when they present the data they make. ठीक है, तो उसकी वजह से धीरे धीरे आपको चीजें जो हैं they will be over the time clearer to you. Even if they are not clearer to you right now, they will be clear to you in the longer course of time. So be patient. I have just thrown a thought in your mind that this is what has been not represented and this is what has been presented. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. Next one is the right to government aid, not fundamental right. Now what is government aid, not fundamental right? First of all, what is aid, what is fundamental right, and what is the Supreme Court direction in that? First of all, when we talk about fundamental rights, there are certain rights that are guaranteed to us by the Constitution of India, which says that these are fundamental. Fundamental means moolbhoot. If you are a human, there are certain rights that are provided to you. Nobody can take away your oxygen. Nobody can stop you from entering a temple. Nobody can basically use any form of injustice towards you that is away from the purview of the law. बोलने का मतलब है कि राजा महाराजों वाला जमाने गए, अब जो जमाने हैं वो कौन से हैं? It is ruled by the law. If a wrong has been done against you, you will be provided justice by the judiciary. These are moolbhoot rights that you enjoy. That is fundamental rights. Now, please remember, under Article 30 of the Constitution, we will talk about this in polity, but please remember, under Article 30 of the Constitution, there is a concept called as minority institutions. Now, what are minority institutions? And the question arises that what is a minority? Minority is a type of a religious group or a linguistic group. Please remember, Indian Constitution recognizes two types of minority. One is the religious minority and next one is the linguistic minority. The linguistic minority is based on the languages. So, for example, if I want to say that there are people who speak Bagathi language or there are people who speak Kahluri language, they can be termed as a community based on linguistic terms. The other communities on the basis of religion, if all the Muslims of the state of HP, they can be called as a minority. So I hope the word minority is clear. There are two types of minorities, and these two minorities are religious minorities and linguistic minorities. Now, under Article 30, there is a special provision for the welfare of the minorities that if they want to operate their own institutions, now institutions can be educational, they could be religious, they could be philanthropic, or they could be even for the service or type of an NGO. Now, according to Article 30, the state have a special responsibility, and under the Constitution, the fundamental right has been guaranteed to the minority institutions that the state government I mean the Indian government and the state government. The government of India headed by Narendra Modi and the government of HP headed by Mr. Jairam Thakur. In that case, there is a certain amount of money that is being provided to those institutions for their smooth functioning. I hope this is clear. The concept is clear. Now, what had happened in the case, there was a minority institution that went to the Supreme Court. They say that under Article 30, there has been special provision for the minority institution and there is an aid that they desire. Now, it is their fundamental right. Therefore, the government is obliged to basically pay them some amount of money which they have not paid. So, Supreme Court have said that when it comes to aid, जब हम किसी की सहायता की बात करते हैं, then it is involuntary. Sorry, it is voluntarily. It is not forced. So the aid is decided by the government. It is not a fundamental right, Article 30, which says, and therefore you cannot say that even if you are a linguistic minority or a religious minority, the benefit should be definitely provided to you. It is for the present day government to decide that whether they want to give away the benefits of the aid to that particular institution or not. So I hope this is clear. Coming to the next topic, Kejriwal launches tourism app. So this is the first of a kind initiative that has been started by the Delhi government, and Dekho Meri Delhi is the name of the app. And other than that, I think same kind of initiative should be started by the HP government. Now, please remember, whenever in this civil service examination, try to think about what will be the name of the app. Dekho Apna Pradesh already we had. So this is Dekho Meri Delhi. So Delhi is a type of a thing that everybody calls its home. So that's why the name of the app is Dekho Meri Delhi. If we talk about the name of HP, it could be either Swarnim Himachal or either it can go by the name पधारो हिमाचल में या कुछ इस तरह से, ठीक है. तो these are the things that we should be focusing upon. And please remember, when you read such article, keep your thinking hats on. You just not only gather the information, but you should also have parallel of that particular information, that why these particular facilities and how these particular facilities could be applicable in the state of HP. So Kejriwal have launched a tourism app. What are the important features of the app? The app is basically give you information with regard to the entertainment places, the food and the hospitality. Okay, here they are, how you can go, what kind of tickets you can book. So basically what he is doing, the tourism sector of the state of Delhi is assimilated on a single app. Now imagine the comfortable if same kind of facility is being provided with regard to the tourists who are coming to the state of HP. Let's say there is an app in the state of HP that is पधारो हमारे देश, या चलिए वैसे तो ये राजस्थान का लोगो है. If we talk about the state of HP, it would be pristine Himachal, we can say, or it could be sustainable Himachal, or it can be प्राकृतिक हिमाचल, कुछ इस तरह से. तो प्राकृतिक हिमाचल मान लीजिए उस पर्टिकुलर ऐप का नाम रखा. द टूरिस्ट हैव कम फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड. नाउ एज दे हैव इंस्टॉल्ड द ऐप, you had information with regard to the boarding lodging, you have information with regard to the important places that you can visit, you have information with regard to the police that you can directly contact if you are stuck, because there are a lot of problems with regard to the weather in the state of HP. You can book rafting services, you can book taxis, or even if you want, you can provide maps of the location, that how much time could be taken from one place to another place, because in the hilly areas the places or real-time monitoring can also be done. If you want to give information to all the people, let's say there is a blockage of a particular road and the tourists are coming, and if you have introduced it at the border that this is the Himachal app, Swarnim Himachal app, that you can basically install, and it will give you all the information, and it will basically assist you in making your stay more pleasurable, more comfortable, and more easy. Okay. So these are the things we can do. We can also have a control that where the tourists are going. Right now we do not have any control. I think if you are reading the newspaper, over the last 2 or 3 days, there have been some persons who have been stuck in the glaciers, and 2 of them have died. So the rescue team has went over there, as the helicopters were not able to go over there because of the bad weather. So these all things can be managed. You can easily keep a track on this particular person, that where they are going. You can provide them, they can provide you SOS alert if they are stuck in some kind of problem. So these are the things that can be managed. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. This is a very good point for discussion in the interview also, because the question could be asked to you certain like that, what kind of things you can possibly do in tourism. So one thing is the introduction of the technology, and when if you talk about introduction of the technology, you can surely go and explaining that what kind of benefits a particular app, as Mr. Kejriwal have announced, what kind of benefits you can basically provide to the people at the local level. Okay, you can make stay more comfortable, amenities, solutions provided, reservations, facilities, places, maps, everything can be assimilated on a particular app. Okay, so this is a very good idea, and it can be replicated in the state of HP. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. इस तरह से सोचना शुरू करिए. Over the time it will become a practice of yours, and then after certain time you will be able to think in a more critical manner and how the things can be basically improved for a state like HP. ठीक है, चलिए next article we will talk about. Okay, the words and the deeds. Now, what is the words and the deeds? First of all, this is related to the Prime Minister Modi chairing the United Nations Council, and in that there have been the usual message that India basically gives. He says that what India looks out for the world and what are the solutions problem with regard to the world. He have highlighted that the growth of the India is directly related to the growth of the world. If India grows, then only there is a possibility that the world will also grow. And right now in this particular current era, it is also probable that if India grows, then only the world will grow. If India does not grow, then it is highly impossible for the world to grow at a pace that it is supposed to be. And why is that? Because India is a big market. We have a huge population. The appetite is there. We had huge resources, we have a bigger middle class, that is the consumption. And after that, even if the world economy have declined, they are always looking, because we are the fastest growing economy of the world. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. I know there are a lot of things with regard to the economy here. अब इसको छोड़ दीजिए, just go with the basic things, कि अगर इंडिया ग्रो करेगा तभी पूरा वर्ल्ड ग्रो करेगा. ठीक है, over the time I will be explaining that what kind of economic terms we are talking about. जैसे हमारे lecture start होंगे, you will be able to understand more and more things about the economy issues and the other problems that are there. Now, what are the other things that Mr. Modi talked about? He talked about Pakistan, that is our favorite topic. He talked about that Pakistan is the host of terrorist activities. He talked about the capacities of some state or the policy of some state to basically use terrorism as a political tool. He criticized that. He talked about China, that unnecessary aggression. Basically, he gave a signal. He did not talk about China. He said that unnecessary problem at the border basically leads to distrust among the individual countries. So that is problem that should be basically stopped from any escalation. He talked about the reforms in the United Nations Security Council. Now, please remember what is United Nations Security Council. For now, you just keep this information with yourself that there are world's 15 countries, the big 15 countries who get together and they form a closer group. And this United Nations Security Council basically deals with the security of the world against one nation to another. So that is what is the purpose of the United Nations Security Council. Now please remember, India is not a permanent member of United Nations Security Council. There are 5 permanent members. I suggest you please search them. And the objective of United Nations Security Council is basically to maintain peace and stability in the world. Okay? Now, what India is demanding? India is saying that India should also be in the permanent member. And so for that, there are 4 other countries which closely form a group called as G4. They have come together to basically seek reforms of the United Nations. Other than that, what we talked about? We talked about India as a mother of democracy. We talked about equality, values, inclusivity, democracy. We talked about renewable energy, our responsibility toward the environment, and what kind of efforts are needed from the developed nations that the developing nations are basically desiring. तो ये सभी concept अभी बहुत ज़्यादा difficult है. Just remember, these are the broad topics that Mr. Modi have talked about. Over the time, you will be able to get a sense of it. If I keep on explaining every topic, it will be a very big lecture, and it is also not possible to cover all those topics in a single lecture. So make notes of 3 or 4 major things that he talked about. He talked about terrorism, Pakistan. He talked about reforms in United Nations. He talked about the environment. He talked about the mother of democracy. These are the 4 takeaways that you have to take from this particular article. And if you want to research more, you can go on the Google and you can research which are the G4 countries, what is the issue with the United Nations. Okay? Other than that, what is the problem with regard to the environment wala रहने दीजिएगा. It will be more difficult for you to understand, but that is how you will go. ठीक है? तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. The next one is the Quad could end up running out of steam. Now, first of all, what is Quad? Now, Quad is a group of 4 nations. And which are those 4 nations? These are India, US, Australia and Japan. There is another grouping that have taken place, that is Australia, UK and US. Now please remember, Quad is basically a group of 4 nations. US is basically keen that this Quad group should have a military alliance for the protection of the Indo-Pacific region. Now one more thing that you need to do, you need to buy an atlas. This particular atlas will basically help you in understanding how the world is actually in conflict with one another and what are the major reasons of concerns around the world. So when I say Quad, you have to see the 4 countries where they are located: India, US, Australia and Japan. When I talk about Indo-Pacific, you have to see the seas that are located and which are the countries that are surrounding the particular seas, the Pacific region and the Indian Ocean. ठीक है? तो ये चीजें आपको खुद करनी पड़ेंगी, because I cannot basically tell you every time कि आप ये सर्च करिए. Whenever I talk about certain countries, you go on the particular atlas, and the atlas you can either buy of Orient Black Swan. That is a better atlas as compared to the Oxford. If you want to buy the Oxford, it is the same thing. But Orient Black Swan is a better atlas as compared to the Oxford. Now, please remember, You need not to cram everything that is on the atlas. Just whenever the country's name pop up, there are some important reasons I will be telling you that you have to look up on the atlas. You will go on the atlas, you will see the atlas, and then you will close the atlas. Chances are that after 2 or 3 days, you will not be able to probably remember what you have seen in the atlas. But over the time, what will happen? There will be a lot of things, that countries, issues, canals, lakes, rivers, that you will be able to remember. And on that particular part, it will be easier for you to just basically remember that what country is situated here. Because geography is very important for international politics, if you have to understand. तो इसलिए जो है जियोग्राफी को आपको समझना पड़ेगा. एंड देयर आर नो इजी ऑप्शंस, यू हैव टू पुट इन द हार्ड वर्क, तभी जो काम है वो हो पाएगा. ठीक है. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द टॉपिक, आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट क्वाड एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यूके, यूएस कोऑर्डिनेशन. So Quad, I told you about 4 countries. See those 4 countries on the map. See Pacific Ocean, see Indo-Pacific Ocean. Now, please remember, the whole theme of this article is the problem with regard to the Quad and an alternative that is available in the form of Australia, UK and US. Now, first of all, let's talk about what is Quad. Quad is an organization of 4 countries. What they do? They come together with regard to various policies. They talk about terrorism. They talk about security, they talk about environment, they talk about technology, they talk about exchange of students, they talk about science, they talk about sports, but they do not talk about one very important thing, that is the military alliance. Please remember, Quad countries do not have any kind of military alliance between the 4 nations. Having said that, please remember, United States of America and Japan are very keen to basically change it into a military alliance. Now, why they are keen? If you have atlas, you will see that around the Pacific Ocean, if you start from the north, I will only be talking about those countries which are basically mentioned in the article. So if you see, Japan is the northernmost country, and parallel to that there is USA. They are both surrounding the Pacific Ocean. China is also surrounding the Pacific Ocean. Australia is also surrounding the Pacific Ocean. India is the one country that is surrounded by the Indian Ocean. Now the question should arise that if this Quad is a particular way to counter China, why include India? Now please remember, the world busiest sea route, I hope you remember merchant navy wale, I think from HP there are a lot of persons. Everybody in HP have known somebody जिनका कोई दोस्त, भाई या कोई और मर्चेंट नेवी में है. Now what does merchant navy do? They take goods from one country to another. That is, they maintain international trade, and their responsibility is to maintain international trade from one country to another. Now please remember, this international trade, basically the maximum amount of it is going through the Indian Ocean. That's why India is important. That's why India is included in the Quad. Now, China and USA have differences. Japan and China have differences. Australia and China also have differences. India and China, I think you probably know. So what have happened? अब दोस्त का दोस्त आपका, sorry, दुश्मन का दुश्मन आपका दोस्त. So that is the thing that have happened in the coordination. Although the Quad was already existing, कब Quad exist हुआ? There are no formal dates, there are no secretariat, there is no funding. This is an informal type of group. मतलब वैसे तो फॉर्मल ग्रुप है, पर इनका कोई अपना सेक्रेटरीट नहीं है और इनका कोई अपनी फंक्शनिंग नहीं है. मतलब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हेनेवर देयर इज अ पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव सार्क, ठीक है, साउथ एशियन एसोसिएशन फॉर रीजनल कॉर्पोरेशन. तो सार्क का अपना एक हेडक्वार्टर है, दे हैव अ सेक्रेटरीट जहां से वो सारे के सारे दे फंक्शन, कि अगर कोई रेजोल्यूशन सब लीडर्स ने मिलकर तय किया तो how they will function, what will be the objective, what will be the timeline, how they will raise the budget, how they will basically cooperate with one another. Quad does not have any of it. USA wanted to be a military alliance, India does not want to be a military alliance. Now why India does not want it to be a military alliance? Because India thinks that if it get or have gone ahead with the Quad, there may be a problem in regard to the cooperation or the relation that India had with China. ठीक है, क्योंकि अगर if you see on that list, India is the only country in those particular 4 countries which share a direct boundary land or sea with China. None of the other countries basically share any kind of land border. तो एक वो हिंदी में कहावत है कि आप पड़ोसियों को कभी नहीं बदल सकते. Whether you like them or whether you do not like them, you have to live with them and you have to basically cooperate on certain matters with regard to the issues that you had with them. तो ये सब चीजें जो हैं they are going on. Now in between what happened, Australia, UK and US sign a particular agreement for military alliance, and it could basically become an upgraded key security arrangement for the Indo-Pacific. Now Happyman Jacob is of the opinion that either the Quad have to basically pull up its socks and have to work hard, और कुछ ना कुछ करना पड़ेगा क्वाड को, इंडिया को कुछ ना कुछ करना पड़ेगा. Otherwise there will be Australia, UK, US which will basically give away the chance that India could enjoy and it will be left behind. Okay? Now, why India is not joining? That is also a question. So he says there may be some concerns. Now, what are the concerns? He says that there could be concern with regard to the Afghanistan problem, because India want a permanent solution to Afghanistan problem. However, none of the three countries have a concern with regard to Afghanistan problem. And for Afghanistan problem, the participation of China is necessary. So India do not want to lose China totally out of the picture. That is the one concern that India could have. The second could be there are new churning of the world power that is happening in the world right now. We do not know that which one is the superpower. Whether Russia and China alliance is the superpower, whether USA, UK is the superpower, whether USA, Canada, UK, Germany and France are the superpower. We do not know that which of the particular countries will emerge as the next superpower of the world. So India is just taking a back seat in assessing the situation and what kind of things we are going to look out for. Other than that, India cannot also stay away. It is a catch-22 situation. If we do not do anything, then we risk on losing our influence with regard to the negotiations that happen in the Indo-Pacific region. If we do a military alliance, we basically risk in pushing China completely away from the table talks, and then China and India will basically not see, and there will be a mutual distrust between the two nations that will basically not allow India and China to dwell upon the relations. ठीक है, तो ये सब चीजें जो हैं they are going on. ठीक है. Now, what not about military alliance? The another question Happyman Jacob asked from you is why the India is not joining the military alliance. There could be reasons to it. So he says that first of all is the traditional resistance that India already had with regard to the multilateral organization, in which India have always preferred to sit on the sidelines and until unless it is definitely necessary to not get into the military alliance. So for example, if you remember, how you will remember, there was a war in 1971 when Bangladesh was created. At that particular time, USA was with Pakistan. And in that, there was a military alliance that India signed with Russia. And this basically protect Indian assets from being bombarded by United States of America. So that has been the policy. India does not sign the military alliance until unless it is necessary. So that is the traditional approach of India and has always been. So why India does that? Now please remember, whenever you sign a military alliance, some countries offering you some form of security. So definitely it will take something from you. So India's philosophy has always been that I basically want to protect my strategic autonomy. Whatever decision I will take into the defense of my country. That's why I will not have any alliance with any of the countries, specifically with regard to the military alliances. Okay? So ये सब चीजें. Second again is the China's reaction, that what China will react, because we do not want to offend our neighbors so much that they do not even talk to us. ठीक है? तो ये सब चीजें जो है we are talking about. अब इसमें बहुत ज्यादा ऑफेंड होने की जरूरत नहीं है कि चाइना ने हमारे इतने सैनिकों को मार दिया. इफ यू आर बिलोंगिंग टू दैट कैटेगरी, प्लीज कीप योर ईगो असाइड. वी आर नॉट हेयर टू सर्व योर ईगोज. वी आर जस्ट हेयर टू टॉक अबाउट सेंस, और we are just here to talk about sense into the things, so that it will be clearly understood to you that what are the things that are important and what are the things that are not important. Okay, so see it like that. Okay. तो इसको ध्यान रखिएगा. The next one is the measuring the regional diversity. इस particular article को छोड़ दीजिएगा, not important. I hope that this article would have been better written, but it is not a very good article. The next one is the revitalizing PM Kusum. Now, first of all, you can only revitalize that you understand something and what is the need. These are the two things that you need to understand. I hope you understand. The article is revitalizing PM Kusum. So PM Kusum is a Ministry of New and Renewable Energy to basically provide certain facilities to the farmers that they can avail, and this will help them basically either earn extra money or either provide irrigation facilities in the field. I will get to the scheme in a bit, but I hope from the article you can get that there is certain problem with PM Kusum. That's why it need to be revitalized. Okay? We only revive something that is needed to be, either it is revival, either it is not good. So that is why revitalizing PM Kusum. The two things you will do here, you will first of all understand what is PM Kusum, then you will understand what is the problem with PM Kusum, and then you will provide the solution. That is how your mind had to work. Okay, that is how you have to think. So first of all, let's understand what is PM Kusum. PM Kusum basically provide three options, and these three options are, it will provide you solar pumps. Okay. As the electricity bill of the farmers for irrigation is very high, so what it will do, it will give you solar pumps. And the first kind of solar pump that it will give you, they are off-grid solar pumps. What does we mean by off-grid solar pumps? That they are not connected to the grid by which electricity is reaching to your home. ठीक है? बोलने का मतलब ये है कि जैसे NTPC, NHPC, they are producing power. They are connected to the grid. They are producing power in Kinnor. From there, the power is basically coming to your homes. Okay? The first objective of PM Kusum is off-grid solar pumps. मतलब उनका objective क्या है? वो sunlight में चलेंगे. They will pump the water, but they will basically not be giving any power to the grid. Second is the solarized agriculture feeders. These are the agriculture feeders that will basically provide certain other facilities. And third one are the grid connected pumps. Grid connected pumps is basically they will be connecting whenever they are not pumping the water to the fields, they will be producing electricity, and this electricity will be given to the grid for purchase, and that will be sold. Now, what is the problem with PM Kusum? Again, the basic problems. First of all, what are the barriers? The barrier is the awareness. Not many people know. The second one is the upfront contribution. It is very high for some farmers. Now, upfront contribution means that you are being provided a subsidy under the PM Kusum scheme, but the upfront payment, जैसे मान लीजिए 10 लाख की मशीनरी है and you have been told कि आपको जो है 50% सब्सिडी इस पे मिलेगी, but then again you have to collect 5 lakh rupees. तभी you will be able to get the rest 5 lakh rupees as a subsidy. So that upfront payment is very high. Now, please remember the first scheme, that is the off-grid solar pump, is working freely under the PM Kusum Yojana. It was launched in 2019. And the other two, that is the solarized feeders and the grid connected pumps. These are the problematic issues that we need to find solutions to. So what he says that there is a 3 or 4 major things that you need to do. First of all, what you need to do, he says that extend the timeline for the distributors to the power purchase obligations. Now, I know you do not understand any of it. First of all, please remember what the government of India is doing. Let me tell you, all the renewable sources of energy, whenever they are producing power, it is obligatory for the power distributors. Now, what are power distributors? For example, the bill come in your home, the electricity bill, and who give you the electricity bill? Himachal Pradesh State Electricity Board Limited. Okay, that is the bill that is generated by that particular company. This particular company is the distributor. Who is the producer? Producer is NHPC or NTPC or SJVNL. Okay, these are the companies who are producing the power. HPSCBL or HPSCB is the company that is distributing the power to the consumers. The first solution that this person have given, Shalu Agarwal and Anas Rahman, is he says that you extend the timeline for the power purchase obligations of the distributors. The government of India, for the popularization of the renewable sources of energy, have basically said to the distributors that you are obligated to buy renewable source of energy under a fixed price or under agreed price from the persons who are producing renewable energy. तो सरकार का कहना क्या है कि जो भी भाई देखिए रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करते हैं उनसे उनको हम बढ़ावा देंगे. बढ़ावा देने के लिए जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स हैं दे हैव टू certainly provide certain amount of power or purchase certain amount of power from the renewable sources. Now what is the problem here? अब जब उनको certain amount of renewable energy purchase करनी थी तो देयर वाज अ टाइमलाइन कि आप इतना 2022 तक आप इतना मेगावाट जो है बिजली खरीदेंगे. विद रिगार्ड टू द कोविड द डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स इनकम फेल. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. अब जब कंपनी सबकी सब बंद हुई कोरोना टाइम में, as the companies are also not working at full capacity today also, so the power consumption have declined. The power consumption declined, therefore अच्छा अब इस बात को ध्यान में रखिएगा क्योंकि ये सवाल पहले भी मेरे पास आ चुका है. देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन कि सर अगर कंपनीज बंद हुई तो दैट द पर्सन वुड हैव कंज्यूम द सेम पावर एट होम. एंड अगेन आई विल आंसर द सेम दैट आई हैव गिवन टू दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन कि सर घर पे आपकी बहुत बड़ी मशीनें नहीं है, इट इज अ लेजर एक्टिविटी. इवन इन द डे टाइम मोस्ट ऑफ द पावर स्विचेज आर ऑफ. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू गो टू वर्क प्लेस तो देयर वर हैवी मशीनरीज दैट वर कंज्यूमिंग मोर पावर. There were different amount of people who are working for 7 to 8 hours a day. They are not working at home with the same capacity as they were working in the companies. So definitely the power consumption would have depreciated. तो उसकी वजह से ये सब चीजें जब हुई तो it became difficult for the distributors to buy from these renewable producers. तो पहला तो आप timeline extend कर दीजिए, and this is not only for the grid connected pumps but also for the smaller projects that has been installed at different places by different people. He says secondly there should be less land regulation with regard to the persons who want to set up their projects. तो जैसे कि if you want to establish a solar pump you have to give with regard to the all detail of your land that you have. फिर उसके बाद लैंड की डिटेल देंगे and then if a certain amount of land is not there तो आप उसमें थोड़ा छूट दे दीजिए. Even small farmers with less amount of land they want to basically cooperate, they should be allowed. The next one is the finance raising mechanism. This is again with regard to the upfront contribution. Problem क्या है? 10 लाख रुपए 50% subsidy, 5 lakh rupees you have to pay from your own pocket. He says that if you anyhow can make that particular 5 lakh money financeable from certain other institution, कि आपके पास banks हैं, आपके पास नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंशियल कंपनीज हैं, आपके पास लोन गिवर्स हैं, allow them to basically take the loan to pay the upfront money so that they can recover it later. Okay? I hope this is clear. Because they are already earning. If they are earning, क्योंकि अगर सोलर पंप लग गया, ग्रिड कनेक्टेड पंप लग गया, तो डेफिनेटली he will be earning a certain amount of money that the distributor will be giving to him for the purchase of energy. Okay? And he can take a loan, he can pay the loan. The guarantee is there, the collateral is there. Why can't you create such a mechanism that the upfront contribution that they had to give should also be financed by certain institution? I hope this is clear. Now, with regard to another calculation is the smart meters, and these are auto induction switches that you have to basically give. You can give smart meters so that a better regulation with regard to the how much power has been consumed can be taken care of. ठीक है, तो ये चीजें इन्होंने कही. तो आई होप यू गॉट द कॉन्सेप्ट. दिस इज हाउ वी विल रीड. ठीक है, दिस इज ओनली आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग इन फर्स्ट लेक्चर. इन एवरी लेक्चर आई विल नॉट एक्सप्लेनिंग दिस. ठीक है, तो उसको ढंग से समझिएगा. When we talk about revamping or revitalizing PM Kusum, three things. What is PM Kusum? The objective of PM Kusum. What is the problem with PM Kusum, and what could be the potential solution with regard to the PM Kusum Yojana. ठीक है. So moving on to the next article, DRDO test Akash Prime missile. Now this is a type of information that you just have to write. Okay, you need not to understand anything. What is Akash Prime? DRDO had tested, and it can intercept aerial target through the radio frequency seeker. The next one is Army trying to fix issues with indigenous guns. So the shortage of the availability of the infrastructure and the heavy armory that we had is now going to be addressed at the borders area with Dhanush and artillery guns that will be given effect with the availability of the domestic manufacturing units, and it will be helping basically make in India and also providing a better facilities through the Indian army for maintaining its resources and getting better facilities from outside. ठीक है, तो उसको ध्यान रखिएगा. Next one is the caste data 98% error free. Registrar General of India told panel. Now please remember this caste data is very important. It will need a better understanding and other kind of issues with regard to the या सिंपल मान के चलिए कि इसमें बहुत डीप में जाना पड़ेगा. तो आज के लिए इस आर्टिकल को छोड़ दीजिए. दिस आर्टिकल विल कम इन फॉर अनदर 3 or 4 months आई थिंक, या जब तक इलेक्शन अगली बार नहीं हो जाते तब तक इट विल कम. तो प्लीज रिमेंबर this is a issue that we will be talking about later. If you want to read about it, you can read about it. पर इसको बाद में समझाएंगे that what is the caste data, क्योंकि caste is a very serious issue in India, तो इसको बाद में explain करेंगे. The next news is PM launches Health ID for every citizen. Again, PM launches Health ID. So Health ID, if there is a particular policy, there should be objective. What is the objective? It is Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. And what is the objective? The objective is to basically have a digitized record of every person health and the solutions or availability of all the data at a single platform. Just say for example, if you go to doctors now, you have to take those paper reports to the doctors every time, and doctors do not know what is the case history. So he was not able to prescribe you better. So now what is the help to the doctors this digital health ID will provide? It will basically provide them all the information that what is your case from the starting of all the records that you have. Government will also have better resource or better data with regard to the information that they have at their disposal, that what kind of people are getting more ill to certain ailments and what could be the solutions to them. Just for example, if there is a certain area in which the cancer is rising, we can, or obesity is rising, let's say, we can provide healthy interventions. Okay? So healthy interventions, so they can get fit, obesity will definitely reduce. If there is a problem with regard to malaria, we can go on the sanitation purpose. So these are the long-term effects or long-term, you can say, positive solutions for the health IDs. But right now, what is the objective of health ID? The health ID will be a digital health solution with regard to the health record of a particular individual nation or individual person. Okay? Doctors will also have accessibility. Patients will also have accessibility. The next one is the Center to extend foreign trade policy till March 2022. So FTP, that is the foreign trade policy. What is this? We will talk about that later. What is foreign trade policy? We will also talk about that later in the economics class. Right now, you just understand that there are certain policies according to which the government basically prioritize that what kind of countries we should target, what kind of products we should send from out of the country, and which products should be regulated. So that is the foreign trade policy. It was earlier applicable from fiscal year 15, that is 2014-15 to 2019-20. It has been extended already 2 times, and from this now it has been extended up to March 2022. Okay. The next one is the attrition in the IT sector cross 1 million this year. Attrition means letting go of the IT sector people. So IT sector have been suffering various drawbacks, and in that the total attrition in the IT sector is basically going to cross 10 lakh people. 10 लाख लोग जो हैं उनको IT sector में नौकरी से निकाला गया है या निकाला जाएगा. That is the estimate that we are currently getting from this particular what is the organization here? Kamla Karanth, co-founder of Xpeno. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. So I hope this is clear. So that was all for today. I hope it had been a good experience. इतना लेक्चर सुनने में जितना समय लगता है उतने में आप पढ़ लेंगे तो it will be the same thing. But for all those people who are not able to understand the concept because it need deep insight, we will be providing lectures every day of the newspaper. I think already you have seen in the last part. तो ये सब चीज़ें इसमें हैं. तो अभी के लिए इतना ही करते हैं, फिर नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में नेक्स्ट न्यूज़पेपर जो है वो पढ़ेंगे.